and welcome to my 11th and final drama vlog. Last week was our final performance week for 222, so the pressure was on big time. At first, when we all started and got in the theatre, we began by setting up the stage and the props and the set, getting everything out, moving equipment around, setting up the chairs. It was a lot to do and it was quite stressful. Many of us, including Emma and a few others, were quite late and we weren't even sure if they were going to turn up in time for the actual performance. The rest of us were having what I can only describe as pre-show nerves. We only had about 3 months of rehearsal time and a lot of us were still forgetting our cues and entire sections of our lines, so we were again very nervous. Ultimately though, we had to put these fears aside to focus on the production. We set up the set very quickly and then began with the audience. We set them all around the stage in a semicircle in an in-the-round format, in that way to bring them closer to the performance, making it feel more subversive, so the scary moments were more scary and packed in a bigger punch. Quickly though, we got into our costumes, turned off all the lights to make it extra dark and creepy, set up the sound and began letting the audience into the theatre. In my opinion, it was our best performance yet. First, on the positive side, the technical side of things went very, very well. Everyone else's performance in all of the scenes were great, and everyone was on top form in this performance. Despite our few setbacks, everyone remembered their lines, their cues, monologues, everything well. And I feel like since we've had some time with the piece, I feel like they've had a really good understanding of their characters and who they're portraying, which really showed in the final performance. They all did a great job. Overall, I think everyone brought their A game today and it showed. It really, really showed. They had a great understanding of the acting and the characters and the story and everything that they needed to do. Now on to some of the negatives. Don't worry, this bit will be brief, as like I said, everyone did a great job. Occasionally, not too many times, but sometimes people's cues were forgotten, which did mean people did cut whole entire lines and chunks of their monologue. It obviously isn't a massive deal as the audience barely noticed, but it did still happen, which means some people's lines were forgotten. There was one moment near the end of scene 3 where there was supposed to be a fox sound effect that wasn't there. And again, it wasn't a massive deal, but it did make me look bad, as it made me look like I'd forgotten my line. And I'm still a bit angry at Joe for it. Other than that, no, very little went wrong. I have nothing but kind words to say about the art group. They did a fantastic job, every single one of them. Now on to me. Overall, I think I did a pretty good job. Like I said in my last vlog, I have been having trouble these past few rehearsals with the prompts, and in particular, my big monologue in scene 4, where I constantly forgot lines, didn't know where to stand, and I feel like that was really annoying me because it was greatly affecting the quality of my performance. Fortunately, for the past few weeks, I've done nothing but gone over my lines, so in my final performance, they were very few slip-ups. I did miss a few cues here and there, but for the most part, I remembered everything I needed to do, all of my lines, everything in my monologue, and everything went really, really well. I remembered all of the little extra mannerisms and quirks that I added in for Ben to make him seem like an actual proper person. Like, for example, his sometimes juvenile tone of voice and passive-aggressive comments that he makes about people. I also feel like I bounced off all of the other characters well, in particular Sam, trying to establish the different dynamics between the characters as they slowly corrode throughout the story. Everyone becomes more and more aggressive, in particular Ben. This is shown in my final monologue and conversation with Sam, where I just go at him angrily, increasing my pitch, my tone of voice. I tried to use my body language more to show how I'd clearly been drinking, and that was definitely affecting my mood and my rage towards him. I feel like I could have made his anger towards Sam and some of the other characters just a bit more apparent, mainly through body language or tone of voice, or both. My parents say that I am my biggest critic, so please take these criticisms with a bit of a grain of salt. In conclusion, I am really glad that the final performance turned out as great as it did. I am really proud of the others, and I feel like what we did was great. We had a lot of fun over these rehearsals, and I'm glad we did just as well as we did. And for a final time, thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon.